Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am here today to present to you a new GPU review. Now, this one's kind of special, and you may ask yourself, well, hold on, what makes this so special? Well, let me tell you a story. Some time ago, Sapphire quietly announced a new GPU that uses a fully unlocked Navi 24 die. No public announcement, no review samples were sent out, no launch date was ever confirmed. The only thing that was confirmed was its existence. When I thought that I would never find this card, a member of the Moore's Law's Dead's Discord pointed me to a listing of this card on Newegg. There was no price listed on it originally. After 10 days went by, I was finally able to purchase it. Today we're going to look at what only 4 lanes of PCIe Gen 4 can do. Also, as a quick note, I will list the system specs along with settings I leave disabled by default, and they are as follows. But before we get into the performance of the card, let's do a quick unboxing board review of it. Now, as you can see here, this is the typical red, white, and black of most Sapphire Pulse boxes. If you notice, on the box it does say there is 8 GB of memory. And yes, your mind does not fool you. This 6500 XT was a very unique little guy. Now, as we carry further along, you'll start to see more images of what the card looks like. Looks pretty typical of what you expect from a Sapphire Pulse, mostly black with some red lines. And the fans themselves, typical per Sapphire fashion. They're mostly straight blades with a little bit of a curve at the end of them. But honestly, I do have to admit these fans were some of the quietest ones I've been around for a GPU. As you can see on the back plate here, the HDMI and the DisplayPort are the only outputs at all, just like they are on the 4GB version of the 6500 XT. But apart from that, there's really nothing out of the ordinary with this card. Let's go to the teardown here. Now, as you can see here on the board view, it looks pretty much like any other typical 6500 XT. Let's actually get to the performance metrics that I was talking about with the games I did test. First up is Horizon Zero Dawn. In this game, even 6GB VRAM is enough to run high settings, and as you can see, the only real benefit here is we get better 1% and 0.1% lows. I can't say the feeling was smooth, no issues. The image quality was also good for 1080p. I am surprised that on Gen 4 this thing is already off to a good start. Next up we have GTA 5. This title is one that is still fairly popular. However, it does prefer to have as much communication headroom as possible. We can see in this test that GTA really does not change much from its 4GB revision. Considering this game was originally released in 2013, it is not surprising that it treats most GPUs not too different from generation to generation. On that note, let's move to another benchmark. Cyberpunk 2077 is a title that gives even the 3090 and 6900 XT a run for its money. But here it is very clear that the 8GB of VRAM does in fact make a difference. For these settings I was using medium and high. It was using 6GB with those settings most of the time when I was gaming. Overall, it definitely made a difference in how playable the game was. Just don't play this game unless you have 6GB of VRAM or more. There is another one that I did choose, and that was Shadow of the Tomb Raider. However, I have unfortunately misplaced the results for it, but it's something I shall test at another time. Anyway, the last thing we're going to look at is the 3D Mark Time Spy score. And as you can see here, it was quite surprising. We are showing you the overclocked results because I feel that's where it's most relevant, to show you what this card was capable of at its fullest capacity. So, I will admit though, the thing that surprised me was, as far as I know, I'm the first and only one to submit any sort of 3D Mark score of this card. As a result, I've got that Mystery Machine achievement that only a few have ever obtained. Here though, we see that the 8GB of VRAM definitely made a difference. It meant the difference between games that I had to run at medium or a game that I could run at high settings and still get a good result. And especially with Cyberpunk and GTA 5, you'll see that I was able to hold it pretty steady because of that high frame rate. And yet, a 4GB card didn't really cut it as well. Now, I'm sure at this point in the video you're probably asking, can I or should I even attempt to get this card? Well, the answer is a flat no. Here's why. At the time this was first listed, there was no price mentioned. And, quite frankly, it really took until the card arrived in stock finally before a price did show on it. And for $239.99, honestly, I can't even recommend this card in this market. For there are much better buys, like the 6600 XT and the 6700 non-XT and so on. So, if you want my conclusion, here it is. I personally believe this was a card that was made by Sapphire because they were trying to clean out their inventory of Navi 24, but also still make some money back as well. Honestly though, it's really one of those cards that only comes around once in a lifetime, and I think it's going to go down in PC history as a gaming card that was met with mixed results, to say the least. And with that, I hope you all enjoyed this video. There's going to be plenty more to come. Got a few more projects in the works. And in the meantime, I hope you all enjoy yourselves. God bless and peace.